All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Hudson Outdoors. I'm here with my cousin Sean, and you guys have seen him in videos hunting deer and turkeys and everything, and he's going to be one of the ones that are hunting with us when we go to all the different states this fall hunting, and we're super excited. Actually, the season opens tomorrow, so hopefully I can get this video out pretty quick, but we're excited about getting to go out and hunting. So today what we're going to talk about is kind of the secret to killing deer in the timber, and I wanted Sean to come in and kind of give some tips on this because he's killed some really big deer, and they all have been in the timber and in the woods in these Ozark Mountains. And so we live in southern Missouri, and it's a lot of hills where we live and mostly all woods, and there are fields and just hay fields and cow fields, but there's really no beans or corn hardly at all at the places we hunt. So growing up, we had to learn how to hunt in the woods, especially, the hills down here in the Ozarks. And so I wanted to bring him in, and he could talk about some of the deer that he's killed and kind of give you guys some tips on how to kill deer in the Ozarks that might help you. If you hunt in a lot of timber or if you hunt on hills, these might be some things that would help you. So I'm going to turn over to Sean, and he can give us some of his tips.
Probably one of my number one tips would be around here would be you got to be mobile. I mean, you can't just hunt the same spot over and over. I mean, the more you hunt one spot, it's going to be burnout, and you're not going to have a whole lot of luck. I mean, that's one reason people preach about being mobile, getting light stands and stuff, where you could travel different places and all that. But a good thing to do is, I mean, you want to get away from people. You don't want to stay around. I mean, if you can get within 500-600 yards from your truck, most likely people is going to be there. The deer's already going to know they're going to be hunted, and that's probably not going to be a very good spot. What you want to do is you want to get out. If you can get a mile, that'd be great, because most people, they don't go a mile back out in the woods, because when you have to drag a deer a mile out of the woods, you're in for a very long haul. I know last year we killed a deer on some public property, me and Jared, which was another one of our cousins, and we drug him, I think it was a little over a mile and a half out. And the time we got done, we was pretty wore out.
Right, and the thing, like what he's saying, the thing that's so important is because there's a lot of guys, they go in and they hang a stand in one spot, and it'll be there all year, and every time they go hunting that same spot. So what he's saying and what we know is so true. You don't go to the same spot every single time and hunt that same spot over and over. You have to move around, because if you're going into the same place every weekend and hunting the same stand every weekend, those deer are going to smell you and going to know that that's where you're hunting all the time, and you're not going to have good luck. And so one of the things that's given Sean a lot of luck, he has several different places he can hunt. So he's not going, like his good spots, he's not going opening weekend to those good spots and then the next weekend same spot, next week same spot, because he knows that's a good spot. Because then when the good time of the year gets here, like last of October, November, the deer are all going to not be in that area because he's put his scent through there so much. So if you want to kill a deer in the timber, don't always go to the same spot. Well, he's saying be mobile. Go back into the back of the property. Don't always hunt the same spot over and over and over. And that I think that's something really good, because there's too many people that hang a stand at the beginning of the season, never move it, never go to a different place, and they always hunt that same spot. Listen, it's going to be hard to kill a big deer if you always go to the same spot every single time. All right?
Another thing on that, a lot of people, I mean, like he says, you'll hunt early season or whatever. I personally have 2 or 3 stands that I will not walk into or check cameras or nothing until probably the first or second week in November, where I know the rut's going, it's prime time, and 2 out of the 3 deer I've killed, the very first sit I've hunted it is when I also killed those deer. So, like you said, don't hunt the good spots until prime time.
Yeah, that's something that's very important, because there's too many people that do that. They just hunt the same spot, even no matter what it is, over and over and over, and that's not going to do. All right, so tip number 2, what's the next one?
Tip number 2 is hunting ridge tops.
Okay.
One of my favorite spots to do is to hunt ridge tops. When I was younger, actually, there was a guy who I worked with. Well, I worked with him for a little while. But anyway, he told me if I wanted to kill big deer, he said, go hunt on top of ridge tops. I was kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. But anyway, so I took his advice the first year, and I went up, and I went to the highest ridge I could find, and I found a pretty good rub line. And I said, well, this might be a good spot. So I hunted it, and the very first time I hunted, I killed a pretty nice little 12-pointer, and I was hooked. After that, I mean, every time I go any new property, I'm always going to the ridge tops, trying to get high. Because, I mean, if the wind on a ridge is going to be blowing one way or the other, I mean, if you're in a valley, it's going to swirl. If you're on top of the ridge, it's going to blow one way or the other way. So you can either hunt downwind of it, and you can figure out which way the deer's coming through that way, and you can set up for them. So I personally, ridgetops is my favorite places to hunt.
Right. And one of the thing, and what Sean has done, had a lot of luck reason doing that is, I mean, almost all of his deer, especially the big ones that he's killed, almost all of them have come hunting on top of the ridge. And then what he mentioned is really the best advice. A lot of people, they might find sign down in a valley, and that's fine. But I'm telling you, you might be able to do it every once in a while, but it is so hard to hunt in a valley. If you hunt an area that has a lot of hills, hunt in a valley, because the wind is always awful. I don't know how many times I found a spot. Like, there was one time I was at the lease, and there was a big ridge that came off, and down in that bottom there was a bunch of oaks, and there was sign everywhere in there. I went down there and I was like, this is a perfect spot. I know I'm going to see deer. And I did. First, I hung my stand. It wasn't 30 minutes after I hung my stand, here came some does in there. They didn't even get 70 yards from me, and they smelled me. And the wind, I didn't even think was blowing in their direction. But down in valleys, wind just swirls. And so that is one of the worst places that if you're hunting a place like where we live with a ton of, especially if you're a beginner hunter, who we're probably mostly talking to, if you're a beginner hunter, try to stay away from the valleys and hunt those ridges. Those bucks just love walking up and down those top of the ridges, and that's where Sean has had a lot of luck. So if you're a beginner hunter, start on the ridges. Okay, tip number 3.
Tip number 3 would be bedding areas, which everybody's heard. Hunt the bedding areas where the does are, the bucks are going to be eventually too, and that is completely true. I mean, like I said, on the ridge tops, I have a couple spots that the ridge runs down to a flat, which is just thick, nasty, and it's a bedding area. There's does in there all the time. I don't go in there until usually the first week of November. And I've killed 3 bucks, probably over 130, 140, out of that same stand in like 4 years. So, I mean, if you find a doe bedding area and you don't bust them out of there, let your wind blow up in there and walk around, stuff like that, you will see a nice buck in the doe bedding area.
Yeah. Now, is the place where you're hunting, like what you're talking about where you kill these bucks, where that doe bedding area is it really thick, or is it just
thick?
Yeah, it's real thick. And then where you're hunting is kind of more open.
I'm up more towards the top of the ridge where it's open. So
right.
The bucks are coming off the ridge into that little flat area where the thicket is, and it's pretty a travel route. They're
right.
Going from bedding area back and forth that way.
And so he's basically hunting an edge, but it's right where the bedding area is at, and he's hunting the edge where it opens up, where those bucks are going into that checking. And that's one thing like that I've had a lot of luck on too. I haven't had as much luck on the ridge, which I haven't killed very many deer, big deer anyway, like in hardwoods very much. But I know the times that I have had luck have been on a ridge or close to a ridge, and it's what he's talking about, like where cedar thicket is, or a real thick spot, and I am in the hardwoods right next to that thicket. And for some reason, those deer, they love going right on that edge or coming in and out of that. If you can find the place where they're going into that cedar thicket, because where we live, there's a lot of oaks, a lot of hardwoods, and everything like that, but there's also a lot of cedar thickets in the woods, and you'll find a spot where there'll be a bunch of hardwoods, and then there'll be one spot where there's cedars, or one spot that's really thick. There's briars, there's bushes, there's all kinds of stuff like that. Well, the edge of that is always a really good spot, because you get on the edge, you get in the part that's open where you can see where you can shoot, and those deer are going in and out of that, or they're following that edge. And a buck, especially, he'll walk that edge, especially if he's checking for does. If you get on the upwind side, he's going to be on that same side, and he'll walk that edge to smell any does that are in there. And so that's a really good thing that you can do as well.
Talking about the bedding areas into the ridges, that stand I was talking about, how I had such good luck. It was 2 years ago I was hunting him. I had a couple pictures of him the year before. He was a pretty good buck, and I had never laid eyes on him. And that season, I was having the worst season. I didn't see a buck over 100 inches. I hunted, I couldn't tell you how many days. Everybody else seemed like they was killing bucks or seeing big bucks, and it was horrible. It was Thanksgiving morning. It was cold. The weather, it was a little bit windy, but not bad. My wife really didn't want me to go hunting that morning, but I was like, well, I'm going to go anyway. Being Thanksgiving, maybe it'll bring me some luck. So I went to that little spot I was talking about. Is a bedding area where the ridge bumped off to it. And I got up in my stand, and I was in there maybe 30 minutes. And I had a bobcat come through, and I was trying to get a shot at him and never did get a shot at him. And like always, I wasn't seeing no deer. So I was sitting there, and about 8 o'clock, I was waiting, and I was going to get down at 9 because we was going to have Thanksgiving dinner and had to get everything ready to go. About 8 o'clock, I was sitting there, and on top of the ridge, I heard something. I looked, and this doe come kind of trotting up over the top of the hill. And she got down, I don't know, probably 40 yards above me, kind of gandering down through there. And I happened to look up behind her, and there he was. He came over top the hill, and I was just blown away. I was like, oh, please come my way. And the doe, she kind of cut away from me, and I'd say she's going to pass about 40 yards. And for some reason, I don't know why, but she turned and she came straight to my deer stand. That big old buck came running down, stopped 10 yards, and I shot him right through the top of the shoulder. He ran out there about 60 yards, turned around, looked at me, or looked back, and then just kind of wobbled and fell over. So, I mean, like I said, bedding areas, ridge tops, that's my favorite place to hunt.
And that's a really good tip, too. Okay, so which one are we on, 4 or 5?
4.
All right, tip number 4.
Tip number 4 would be saddles. I love to hunt in a saddle. I mean, if you think about it, whenever you're walking, say you're going on a hike somewhere, you're going to take the easiest possible way to walk. So, I mean, if you got this big old monster bluff, and then there's a big old valley and another big bluff, you're going to walk right through that little valley or the little saddle to get to where you're going. So a deer, it doesn't matter where they're at, they're always going to take the path of least resistance. So saddles, I mean, they're great places to hunt for big bucks or does, whatever you're trying to kill. But, I mean, you'll see a lot of deer in a good saddle.
Right, and so what he's talking about, if you don't know what he's talking about, if you have a big ridge going across, and then you have a spot that kind of dips down and then goes up on another ridge, those deer are going to go, if they want to go over that ridge or over that mountain, they're going to go at that spot where it saddles down, where it kind of dips down and goes under. They're going to go over right where that's at. And so it's an awesome place for them to travel, because if it's super steep on one side where they got to walk a long ways, more than likely their travel area, they're going to take the easiest way, like he was saying. And I think that is really good too. And a lot of times, same kind of deal what he's talking about. If you find a place on a ridge, on each end of a ridge, if one side is super steep going down and one side is not as steep, they're going to take the side that's not as steep. So you always look for those little tiny things and a lot of people say like a hub wheel, to where you have a bunch of ridges coming together and they all go down together. If they're not very much, that's what he's kind of talking about. It's the easiest way for them to travel, to get down one ridge and up the. Now, that's not to say that a deer won't take off up down a steep. I've seen them take steep deals. That's not to say that they won't do that. So don't be commenting saying like, oh, I've seen deer walk off cliffs. Well, yeah, they walk down steep stuff, but the easiest way is what they're normally going to take. So if you want to see more deer, more than likely, they're going to go over the part that saddles down, or they're going to go down the ridge that is the least steep, so that it's easy for them to go down. If they can go down a spot that's kind of flat or less steep, that's the way they're going to go. So you want to look for those areas too. And I remember, because when I first started hunting with Dad, and he has a lease down in an area where it's the same thing. It's even steeper than where we live. And the first deer that I ever killed, I killed a doe, and Dad had a stand. It was on top of this ridge, but the spot where he had it, it was right up on this ridge where the hill sloped real slow up. And the first time he had set in there, he saw 15 deer in that spot. So he took me in there. I was 11 years old with my bow, and 20 minutes after daylight, here came a doe walking right up that shallow part of that hill, right up on top of the ridge. And it was because that hill wasn't very steep, and so he was able to go right up that hill. And so that I completely agree with that. Saddles or hills that aren't very steep is what you want to look for. That's really good in the woods.
Another thing, I mean, like, if you've ever been around fences, like a lot of fence crossings and stuff, I mean, you could have a stretch of fence 300-400 yards, and if you come to a spot where the fence is broken, all the deer for some reason will cross in that one spot. For some reason, whenever there's a fence broke, fence is down, trees down on it, like I said, the easiest path of resistance or whatever, that's what they're going to be going on. Another good tip would be, I mean, a lot of people give up too soon. I mean, I've hunted 3 months and never fired an arrow. I mean, just nothing. Never even seen a buck worth shooting. And then right when I'm about to give up, like I said last year, Jared, he asked me to go down to him on that public land. I mean, I didn't really want to go. And I told him I'll just go down there and I'll just walk trails and stuff and just scout it around, because I hadn't scouted it very well. And lo and behold, I shot the biggest deer I ever shot with my muzzleloader. So, I mean, you can't give up. I mean, just keep on. I mean, it's going to get rough at times, especially if you're not seeing any deer. Then the cold weather kicks in. It starts getting really cold. You're out there freezing to death. You just got to keep on keeping on, I guess you would say. Just keep on trying.
Right. We thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully some of the stuff we said might help you so you can kill a deer in the hardwoods. But the main thing is you just got to get out there and start hunting, because you'll learn the most when you're out there. And there's not really a secret, but there's a lot of things that you could do that'll help you be more successful in the field. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because we're fixing to go out in the field and we're fixing to actually get to do some hunting. We're pumped about it. Woo! We're excited. So we're fixing to go out and see if we can kill some deer. So make sure you subscribe so you can follow along and watch us as we go out on public land, see if we can kill some deer. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.